As you'll see before you, we basically have a tier list. However, what happened last weekend is all of the big events for qualifying for Worlds took part. Now, I'm only going to be utilizing this for the TCG because that's kind of the same, Forbidden Limited list, the same format, so to speak. Obviously, if you take into account the OCG, it's a little bit different. So, as you see before you, you've got the tier list. There may be some decks that I may have missed off, and I will add them in as I go. However, I do have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro decks. Now, this is great for finding out what decks topped, where they topped, and everything else in between. So you can see the Oceanic ones here. I will go through and you'll be able to see all the deck list as we go through them as well. We've got the EU WCQ, and then we do have the North American WCQ. And I mean, something quite fascinating from the top 8 here, if you look at the pie charts to the bottom right, you can see how varied each area kind of is. So I thought this could be an informative video to give you a conclusive tier list. So now this is just the facts. The facts of the matter is the best deck of each area, each region, each event is technically the one that won the event. But you'll also be able to see throughout this video the representation. You'll be able to see the duel list behind them and everything else in between. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get started. So, the Oceanic WCQ. Now, it says it was won by Light and Darkness Ritual, but if we actually scroll down here and look at the deck list with broken images, great start. Let's refresh that page. Fixed images, there we go. So it was Light and Darkness Mitsurugi Yummy Ritual. So quite a combination. So to me, this is 60 card, play the best that each has to offer. So you're playing the Yummies, makes sense. You're playing a Fiendsmith package, you're playing a very small Mitsurugi package. And then for the Light and Darkness factor of the deck, you're playing 3 Griffo, 1 Mind Shuffle, 3 Black Chaos. And then you're not even playing the Magician of Dark Chaos, Black Chaos. You're only playing the Black Luster Soldier. So Fiendsmith, Mitsurugi, Yummy, Light and Darkness Ritual probably makes sense. So of course that was a winning deck. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, you'll be able to see that second place was of course Archmages with Power Patrons, and they were also utilizing the Amorphage cards to get a bit more control in and around the place. You go down to the top 4. For the top 4, we ended up getting a branded list. We've got Cool Tunes, and Cool Tunes will feature quite a lot on every event, mainly the North American WCQ, as that does seem to be the highest representation. If we carry on down to the top 8, now some of these won't have deck lists for them, but they've got this little icon here, which is the Azamina. So this was Light and Darkness Ritual with the Azaminas. Cool Tunes, Blitzkrieg also made it into the top 8. Another Cool Tunes one here. So the big difference between this and the other one that got top 4 was the not utilizing or not using the Cyframe package is kind of the one that stands out. Then we've got Elf Note branded. The reason that it's called Elf Note branded is because it does play 2 Fallen of White and the 1 Albaz with the Ecclesia, so pretty much a splashable engine. And then we carry on down for the rest of the top 16. You've got Cool Tunes, you got another Cool Tune there, you've got another Elf Note there. Again, pretty much with the branded lineup, just with no Albaz and only 1 Fallen of White, which is quite interesting. Another Cool Tunes, and then we've got Invoked. So Invoked is also quite an interesting one here. Now, the way that I'm going to add these to the tier list is it will be the place that they finished the highest, because then that kind of gives it the fair representation. Cool Tunes, another Blitzkrieg here, pretty much pure Blitzkrieg, which is really cool. No Ryziel there. Light and Darkness Ritual with the Nadir Servant package, so leaning into the Dogmaticas themselves. Another branded list. And then this one's really exciting. So this is a Tachyon list. So it's a Tachyon Mitsu list. Now, I thought initially it would be, oh, okay, it's going to be more Mitsu than anything else. But when you look into it, it's actually got a lot of Tachyon cards. So, quite like this. Very, very interesting. Then again, another Light and Darkness ritual, another Blitzkrieg. So you can see that this one again is kind of more of the pure build. Seems to have worked out quite nicely. And then Sacred Beast also getting into the top 32 here. Very, very interesting lineup. It does look like it is just pure Sacred Beast, pretty much. So that's kind of cool. Cool tune. Sky Strikers, no deck list on that one. Power Patrons, 2 of those. A Memento, a Cool Tune. There you go, just to pretty much show you the rinse and repeat of the Cool Tune elements. Elf Notes, 2 Elf Notes, 2 more Cool Tunes. And then we can go into the top 64. I haven't really counted them. I've only gone up to top 32 because I think otherwise we'd be talking about loads of decks. But just to kind of highlight some of the interesting ones that are a bit more unique, we've got a Trains at the top 64. We got Fairy Tale got into the top 64 of the Oceanic. We've got an Onomat build, pretty cool there. Radiant Typhoon, another Sacred Beast, so it wasn't just a one-off kind of topping option. Memento, Invoked, Cool Tune, and then the rest decks are not submitted there. So just using the Oceanic, when we look at the Oceanic, I'm not really sure, like Light and Darkness did ultimately end up becoming a winner, but then so did Mitsu and so did Yummy in that kind of hybrid for the Oceanic. And then what did we have? We had Archmage, Branded, Cool Tunes, and this is even the top 8, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So it goes down to here. So we got, interestingly enough, with the Oceanic, and I'll show you what the tier list kind of looks like. The Oceanic goes like this, Branded, Blitzkrieg managed to make the top 8. So there we go. Blitzkrieg. Where's Branded? Branded goes there. And then Elf Note only got as high as top 16. Invoked got top 16. So it would be Invoked, Elf Note. No, like obviously the Power Patron hybrids. You can pretty much mention on that one. And top 32 was like the Tachyon. Very, very interesting. Sacred Beasts. Pretty cool. I believe those have got, there's the Power Patrons, and Memento got to the top 32. So Power Patrons, Memento. So on this one, obviously Sky Strikers didn't break into the top 64 from the looks of this, apart from the unknowns that we don't know, which is quite interesting. So let's get rid of that. So when you look at the Oceanic, this is kind of how the Oceanic decks lined up a little bit, which I think is quite interesting. I quite like that. A very big range. There is, of course, Light and Darkness that ended up getting top 8 as well, but you can kind of see where each of the decks pretty much bottomed out overall when you include the Oceanics. Then let's have a look at the European EU WCQ. So this was won by Tim. So Tim Graffer ended up winning it with Cool Tunes. Runner-up was Mitsurugi, and then it was 2 lots of Branded, Invoked, 2 Cool Tunes, and an Elf Note. So they all got top 8. So let's just have a quick look if we were to shuffle this around a little bit more. So ultimately, for the EU WCQ, it goes Cool Tune, which is that one. Mitsurugi was into the top 8. There was no Archmages. So have a quick look at this one. Branded, Invoked, and Elf Notes were the top 8. Branded, Invoked, Elf Notes in the top 8. No Blitzkrieg in the top 8. And then if we go to the top 16, that's where Light and Darkness starts to show itself. So it's Light and Darkness in the top 16. Fairy Tale's got into the top 32. So Light and Darkness got to the top there. Just clear these out a little bit. Top 32 was Fairy Tale. And then we just have a quick look if there's anything more. Archmage made it to top 32. Yummy made it to top 32. So Yummy and Archmages go in there. Malice made it into the top 32 as well. Pretty impressive. There you go. Just have a quick look at the Malice list. Pretty standard, but pretty cool. So, and Power Patron made top 32. So this made top 32. And Malice made top 32. I'm pretty sure there was a Sky Striker. I swear a Sky Striker got into... Yeah, there you go. No, that's Oceanic. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Sky Strikers did make it into the top 32 for the Oceanic. I missed that one. Is there a Sky Striker? So there wasn't a Sky Striker at the EU WCQ. That's quite interesting. So there was no Memento, no Blitzkrieg, no Sky Striker, and no Memento in the top 32 of the EU WCQ. So if we have a look at the tier list, this is ultimately how it looked for the EU WCQ. And then we'll do it for the North American one as well. Top 8 is pretty standard. So winner, Ryan Yu. Wasn't Sky Striker. According to Ryan Yu, it's not the deck, it's him. And, you know, I kind of agree with him. Like, as a duelist, he's incredible. And when you look at how varied the rest of the top 8s were, so top 8 of the EU WCQ was 5 different decks. The top 8 of the Oceanic WCQ was also 5 decks. North America, 2 decks. And Ryan was the only one on Sky Strikers. And then we got a good old-fashioned Tom Payne here from the UK, got top 16. 1 spot out of breaking into that top 8 with branded. Wow, that would have been so cool to see. So if we then go over here, the top 16, we ended up getting branded in there. Light and Darkness, Mitsu, and Sky Striker. Light and Darkness, Mitsu, Sky Striker snuck itself into the top 16. Doom Z. Oh, I've missed off a Doom Z. Okay, I'll have to add a Doom Z to that. So there's a Doom Z that stuck in at 32. Elf Note and Invoked got at 32. So none of this. Elf Note. Invoked. What else snuck in at 32? Power Patron was in the top 32. And this is something that I really wanted to show off as well, but it was in the top 64 with Cyber Dragon. It's like a 60 card machine turbo pile. It's beautiful. And it does actually play a decent chunk of Cyber Dragons as well. Or Cyber Darks as Cyber-esque monsters. This is kind of cool. I really like that. That's awesome. So I believe that's covered. So apart from Doom Z that I would need to add into here, none of these decks broke the top 32 at the North American WCQ. So now what I want to try and do with that information I've just shown you is we're going to combine this as a one full list. So Cool Tune won the EU WCQ. The North American WCQ was won by Ryan Yu, who was obviously on Sky Strikers. And then the Oceanic, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to put this because it's Light and Darkness, Mitsu, Yummy. Like, that's just one whole deck. Then if we look at the top 8, so I think the highest performing top 8 deck, technically Archmage was a top 8 deck, so Archmage goes in at there because of the Oceanic. And then we got Blitzkrieg, so the Oceanic again showing that Blitzkrieg can do really well in that environment. If we go to the EU WCQ, Mitsu, Invoked, and Elf Note, so they go into the top 8 as well. Elf Note, Invoked, branded. I don't think Sky Striker, apart from Ryan Yu, broke into the top 8 anywhere. Doesn't look like it. Branded definitely there. So the top 16, what have we got left of these decks? So I think Sacred Beast, the highest it performed, was top 32. So Sacred Beast got top 32. I think Memento also got a top 32. There we go. So top 32 for... Too many tabs. Top 32 for Memento. And then Fairy Tale, I think the highest it got was top 32 in the EU WCQ. Just going to confirm that. Yeah. So top 32 for Fairy Tale. Power Patron, Malice, and then actually Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers, top 32 in the Oceanic. Sky Striker, I mean, technically, Sky Striker did win it. So, technically. Even though it was piloted by probably the best Sky Striker player in existence. Otherwise, if you wanted to balance it out and not take Ryan Yu's confidence, which fair play to him, like the guy went and won bloody North American WCQ, you would put Sky Striker as the top 16 deck, but you know, I suppose Ryan Yu is the outlier in like how good they are with the deck. So if you wanted to just say Sky Striker as a general option, you're probably saying top 16. And then it was Malice was EU WCQ at top 32. There we go. And then the highest positioned Power Patron deck was... so definitely top 32 at the Oceanic. Top 32 at the EU WCQ. And didn't break into the top 32 at North American WCQ. So that probably goes there. So that means of the top 16, everything was like rinsed and repeated, apart from Doomsy. So Doomsy should go into the top 32. So look at the Oceanic. Power Patron, Sky Strikers, Elf Notes. Yeah, I suppose the Tachyon has to be mentioned as well. So let me add in Tachyon and Doomsy, because that's only fair, right? But very, very impressive. Overall, a very high level competitive weekend all round the place, which is amazing to see. So just try and find the right image for Doomsy. That'll do. Doomsy Raiders. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to do here, let me see if it will let me add an image. Is it gonna... Hopefully it doesn't replace what I've got. Or change the titles. It might make me redo it. Because I've got to add these in. Oh, I've got a Glypharia there. Yeah, so if you ever wanted to know how tier lists are made, this is how it's made. A lot of work, a lot of effort. Ah, yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So look at that. That is the range of decks that we got at top 32. Obviously, top 64, you add a little bit more, not so much variation, but you get a little bit more. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're going to get more bang for your buck. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Nari. I appreciate that so much. So, just double check. I think I'm not in presentation mode. There we go. So if I... Boop, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. So, overall, when you combine all of the Oceanic, European, and North American WCQs, this is what our format looks like in the TCG. Now, of course, there are some outliers, and what I mean by that is Sky Striker is still good, right? We've seen Sky Striker, a couple of Sky Strikers got top 16 in certain areas, still did very, very well. We got the odd Memento, we got the odd Malice, we got the odd Doomsday, we got this spicy Tachyon that's kind of come in. So you can kind of see that the top 32, you'll get the odd deck that really catches your opponents off guard. Archmages kind of floated between top 32, and then the highest place position was second place. So that was really, really kind of cool. And then Invoked obviously made quite a good showing as well. Did I get all my high rarity stuff from Euros? I was sensible at Euros, let's put it that way. There was a couple of cards that I wish I could have picked up at Euros, but I regret it now because of the prices that they... So basically, right, Pot of Sloth, okay? So I watched... There's a couple of cards, right? There was the Chaos Angel Extended Art, or Extended Art, that I saw at 60 euros, right? And I was like, oh, that's a really good price. Maybe that'll go down. I saw that on the Friday. That 60 euros one was gone in an instant. So obviously I missed out on that one. The other card I was watching was Pot of Sloths. The Pot of Sloths, there was... One vendor had like 8 of them at 120 euros. And I was like, that's not bad. Another vendor had them at 110 euros. And then another vendor put them out at 200 euros a copy. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. They then later on realized that they had mispriced it and dropped it to 100 euros a copy. And I was like, damn, I could get a playset for 100 euros. So I was like, I'm not going to do it, because I wanted to upgrade my Light and Darkness deck. So I was focusing on getting my Light and Darkness monsters rather than the Pot of Sloths. And I probably should have got the Pot of Sloths, to be honest. But I was focused on the Light and Darkness cards. And I was like, I can't justify getting the Pot of Sloths and the Light and Darkness decks cards. So ended up doing that. And then I went on a bit of a shopping trip for some of my friends to pick up some cards that they wanted around at the vendors as well. So some fairly decent prices on a lot of cards around the vendors, to be fair. And I picked out a couple of like odd cards as well. So like, I got the Witness, the new TCG exclusive monster. I got like extended art cards for €15 a piece. So it works out about £12 a copy. And I was like, that's really good. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. And there was just times where, because obviously I would get to the venue a little bit early to get set up for the recording and everything of the day. And I would go like say good morning to everyone and kind of just go around. And then anytime I had a bit of a break, the challenge was to complete the Light and Darkness deck and get all the Starlights. Apart from the extended art cards, I refused to touch the extended art Black Luster Soldier and Black Chaos. I just think the ultra rares just look really clean and clear. So anyway, for those of you just joining us, this video will go out after the fact. It's a very short, sweet, simple video, but the idea is I thought it would be informative to bring together a collated tier list, if that's what you want to see it, of the Oceanic WCQ, the European WCQ, and the North American WCQ. Now, I actually find this website really, really helpful because what it does is it collates. I mean, the debt price is give and take because the debt price will variate depending on what software is being used to find the prices of these individual cards, maybe the overall average. But these could be the overall averages in America rather than Europe or the Oceanic and stuff like that. But what I like about this is it lets you see the people's debt lists. So you get to see, oh, okay, all the cool tunes were slightly different, or all the cool tunes were slightly... So just taking this for example, right, I'm pretty sure these lists are near enough card for card the same, apart from like Dominus Purge and that. This is the only one, the runner-up Charlie, where he's actually playing the Cyframe package in the main deck, which is quite interesting. And you can see the difference in prices of the decks as well. So Ryan Yu's total debt was $701 apparently. I can only imagine that's because of the accusations and the sloths, right? And the crowns. Then we look at Charlie's. Charlie's is nearly 220-ish dollars less. And that you can see straight away. That's without the Pot of Sloths, that's without Forbidden Crowns, and that's without Solemn Accusations. So it kind of gives you a bit of an idea of the price brackets and the price gaps, which is quite fascinating. Curiously, like, what was the Euro? So, Tim Graff's top. So, one Illusion Gate, that's quite a little bit spicy. Or Accusations and Pot of Sloths. So that's where this doesn't take into account rarities, by the way. Harmonias. Was Charlie on Harmonia? He must have been. Oh my god, Charlie was not on Harmonia. That's wild. Wow, Charlie wasn't on Harmonia. That'll explain why he is like a good $200 less than the others as well. Shows the caliber of player. And the Mitsurugi, 417. I'll tell you what I will do actually. Shall I see the lowest top in deck? $1,000. Woo! Okay, so let's see what the lowest. So for the winners, I think it averages out about $700. 883 is mad. $700. Okay, but then the highest. What's the highest? Whoa, $1,000. Okay, what's the lowest top in deck? And we'll go to top 32. 352. Wow, $150. That's beautiful. Beautiful. $150. And that duelist got top 32 at the Oceanic WCQ. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, I think that's probably going to be winning, right? Let's have a look at the lowest EU WCQ. Danilo, $310. I bet it's a little bit more expensive than that now because the hype on this deck is crazy. Is that the lowest on top? No, lower. Oh, there's even lower. The Malice one is even lower. And that's got impulses and sparks. Nice. So top 32 at $278, give or take. $230, another Malice one. So Malice is actually half budget. And then the NAWCQ, what was the lowest top 32 cost of a deck? 250. Oh, is that top 32? Yeah, $250 is Doomsday. Oh no, $170 was invoked with a little Radiant package. That's kind of cool. Oh, I like that. The Radiant package is like your draw engine. So you use Fen to get you to Vision. Vision obviously can then bridge you into Mystical Space Typhoon or something else. That's kind of cool. What about the top 64? What's the lowest priced? Some prices, some deck prices are crazy. Some are pretty cool. Anyway, yeah. Good evening, Mr. Alex D. I'm probably gonna end the pre-recorded segment there. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be as quick as this, but I wanted to make this one factual. So this one isn't based on opinion. This is based on facts. The winning decks at the events were Oceanic was Light and Darkness featuring Yummy featuring Mitsu. Cool Tunes with the EU WCQ, and then Ryan Yu with Sky Strikers. But it looks like Ryan Yu carried Sky Strikers all the way to the finish line on that one. Won the North American WCQ. For the top 8s, we had Archmage at second at Oceanic. We also got a Blitzkrieg, got into the top 8 at the Oceanic. We had Elfno and Invoked and Branded in pretty much most of those as top 8s. Sky Strikers top 16 and then everything else above it. And then top 32, we got some very nice surprises in the Oceanic one. Because the Oceanic had Sacred Beast and Tachyon, which was Tachyon Mitsu. Then they had some interesting involvements from Mementos. And then we got Fairy Tales, Malice for the EU WCQ. And then Power Patron and Doomsday. So just a very, very nice range. And very well done to all of these. So for those of you curious on who's going to be representing your regions at Worlds, I can only tell you the top 4 from each one. But for the Oceanic, it'll be Stephen Medhurst, Frankie Lin, Dylan Taylor, and Jerry Zhang. Then for the EUWCQ, it's going to be Tim Graff, Florian Deroni, Paul Robert, and Francesco Simoncelli. Danilo has also qualified because he won the World's playoff. So has Josh Kelly. So we've got 7 representing us from Europe. The same for America as well. The American players will be Ryan Yu, Charlie Fook, Gabriel Brathwaite, and then Mario DeMarco. And then whoever won the World's points playoff. I'm still shocked by this. Tom Payne, man, used to be one of the commentators, moved over to America. It's great to see that he's able to still play as well, which is really, really cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop the recording here, but then I'll stay on for a little bit and we can just have like a casual chat back and forth. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. This will be available for rewatching afterwards as well. I'll just need to edit it, tidy it up, and put it in a better kind of viewing pleasure for more people.